What's up, Alphas? It's your boy, Alphas LMA. Looking cute, looking clean, looking sexy. And of course, you know, it's Just a Fan Wrestling. The show that started it all with Just a Fan. The time I met these two guys that's going to be with me today. This is how it started. It started over AEW becoming good and Big E winning the championship. If anybody remember how the show started. It was like that same week, CM Punk returned just a few weeks before. And we like, it's wrestling back on the mainstream. And today, I'm with two guys who, AEW fans, we gotta have a talk. Up top, we have, if y'all remember him from the first episode and a few others, we have Jerry out there. How you doing today?
What's happening? What's going on? Shout out to the world. Shout out to the diabetics.
And beside him, we have, of course, y'all know him every week. Up here talking some wrestling, as he say. Tori, aka Afro Company 765. How you doing today, Tori?
You already know, your local neighborhood scumbag here. Give the folks their daily dose of dirtbag. Same gimmick, different day. Smoking on the AEW booking pack. You already know what it is.
But today is a special day. The reason I brought up this intro is why Just a Fan was made. I literally asked people like, hey, I need some people who want to talk wrestling. My friends don't care about nothing like that. So shout out to my co-host Uniqo, who introduced me to these two guys. They are legends, alphas, and we put together Just a Fan, even though we're involved in something else. But we back to the roots. And AEW fans, I want to have a conversation. And this
long ass conversation.
Yes, we gotta have a conversation. We gotta have a talk because I partly blame us for this. I'm gonna say us because I am.
Fuck you. I don't blame us for this.
Tor, you ain't been loud enough on Twitter, Tor. You ain't been loud enough on Twitter.
I've been trying to fix this nigga's booking for going on 3 years now. No.
You wasn't loud enough, Tor. They didn't hear you in the back.
I guess not.
So you weren't loud enough. I'm blaming us. But first I want to dispel a rumor about the Time Warner. According to Fight for Sean Ross Sapp, they don't want people to go off the rails and just go on doing their own thing, more so than just cussing all the time. They could lower the bleeding because I'm promise you it's not special no more, bro. We expect John Moxley to bleed every match. It's not
the blood. We gotta just clean slate the blood. Like it's either gonna be there like it is or it's not. At this point, I don't even care if a bunch of as long as these niggas get better about hiding the blades, I don't even care. They can bleed as much as they want. But as many times as I've seen a razor blade laying on the floor, like either the cameraman has to get better or you have to be smart enough to slide the blade under the ring like every other person. Or better yet, Ric Flair used to take a piece of the blade and then just tape it around his finger and he'd use it then and then no one ever saw it. I mean, you're going to bleed.
He has the craziest video with
you can bleed in every match if I don't have to look at the fucking razor blade.
But it's just, I'm going to give bait though. It's just like Hell in a Cell. It don't feel special no more. It doesn't feel the same.
Oh, no, but it stopped feeling special in the 90s, though. Let's be honest. When ECW came in and freaking we got heavy into the Attitude Era, they wore it out. And then we gave it some time, and we had to let it breathe because WWE went PG. And now we've got AEW. And, I mean, Tony Khan has slid from his Ted Turner WCW vibes, and now he's slowly trying to slide into his Vince Attitude Era vibes, but it's not going to hit the same in 2022. But he'll find that out the hard way. But as you were saying.
Yeah, I just wanted to dispel that rumor because I know it was going around. People like, they're going PG now. They might eventually have to once they grow big enough, but it's still a private company. And Warner Brothers Discovery is kind of in a weird place right now with everything. But let's have this conversation.
They got more property than they know what to do with.
Let's go over this conversation we got to have. Listen, y'all got to stop excusing Tony Khan. I want this conversation to go. Listen, bro, everybody fighting backstage is not a work just to get us fans. That man is what booking?
Thank you. It's not a fucking work.
What booking?
Thunder Rosa hiding in the bathroom from Jamie Hayter is not a work.
We're gonna talk about that too, but he has never booked nothing that What was my biggest problem with him throughout most of this thing? It's so simple. Y'all think he gonna have this extravagant plan of booking that all of a sudden he's just gonna have everybody backstage tricky? No, his booking has always been fan heavy.
Punk's gonna turn heel and beat Moxley it all out.
Yeah, he's going. It doesn't even make that storyline wouldn't even make sense. We're gonna talk about it.
But that's what he's gonna do. That's what he's about to do.
Like it doesn't make sense. MJF ain't gonna. We went over the plan yesterday. MJF come out, help Punk, do all this, and they turn heel, and they go. He don't book like that. He never have. I don't know where y'all get this idea that he's this genius booker who comes up with these elaborate schemes and tricking everybody and working the news media. It never had. But
you know how many times I had to look at the tweet that kayfabe is alive? I'm sorry, it's still not alive.
Ugh.
I'm sorry, it's dead. It's been dead for a long time. We all do our best as fans to suspend our disbelief because we know kayfabe's not a thing anymore. But why do you have to make it such a hard job? Why can't you let me suspend my disbelief in peace? Why do you have to make it so blatantly obvious? Like, Dave Meltzer just gave the Death Triangle versus the United Empire 5 stars. When I watched Pac take 30 seconds to set up for a moonsault.
While it was sitting away, they was waiting
over 30 seconds to set up for a moonsault. Who is still standing there in 30 seconds? Listen, audience, count to 30 right now and tell me if you saw a freaking beat up midget climbing up on a freaking goddamn turnbuckle about to do a moonsault. Are you going to stand there in the time it takes him 30 seconds, or are you going to move? Come on, man.
And what they tried to do too was switch that camera angle so you only looking at Pot for 30 seconds.
And then they went into this lame Kip Sabian setup. Kip Sabian was not cool when he was the first ever wrestler to wrestle on AEW. He wasn't cool when he did the weird best friends thing best friends want a ripoff thing with Miro, the best man. Bruh, what are we? Tony Khan booked that, folks. He booked me.
Let's get off Tory rant and let's go back to our conversation. Listen, these all is not an elaborate scheme to work here, but he has never did that. I don't know where y'all where everyone getting this.
Tony Khan is a mark. Like for real.
MJF has been proven to be fake, bro. I ain't seen MJF since he had that promo. I don't know how it's proven to be fake if I haven't even seen him.
I mean, hey, look what happened to Punk when he went off script.
Yep.
I mean, it was like I said, was MJF a work or not? Did they work themselves into a shoot, or did they shoot themselves into a work?
Listen, Warner Brothers sent a message down today to tell people to stop going off script because this might get weird. It wasn't to tell them to stop cussing all that. It's like this is getting strange. Everybody fighting.
When you have to cut out whole promos. They had to cut out the whole. That's why we didn't know Eddie was suspended to begin with, because they had to cut out the whole promo.
But it's a work though, because they cut it out, but it's a work, even though we never was supposed to see it. It's a work though.
It's cell phone videos, folks.
Jared, I got a question. If it's a work, why did they cut it from TV so nobody can see it? That's an amazing work, my guy.
It's just tough. And like I have to agree with Tori. And the whole time I'm listening, because I didn't even catch all of it, but I caught parts of it. And the parts that I'm catching, I'm like, am I watching AEW or am I watching the NWO and WCW in 2000?
It's like exactly
what
Turner, man.
Yeah.
He's Ted Turner. Or trying to be.
Like, what's going on here? Like there's no, like, WWE gets a lot of flack when it comes to, okay, their stuff is structured and how they do things. But when you got, I hate to say it, when you got inmates running the asylum is going to act a fool.
Yo, you think Vince McMahon ever once in WWE went to the locker room, had a bean and said, listen, I ain't gonna be a pushover? Vince like, I'm no good. I ain't no pushover. I will tell you to fight me before I'm a pushover.
The last time Vince had a freaking office-wide freaking, the last time Vince probably addressed the whole locker room was when he told them that he was buying ECW. Let's keep it real.
Or some
Like-
tragedy. Of course, they're doing it in tragedy.
Oh
but-
well, yeah. See, I don't. You're good. You're right. But I don't even know if Vince talks to everybody then, or do they just be like, "Yo, we're gonna do the 10 bells like we always do. Everybody's gonna come out there, pay the respects. We're gonna keep it moving."
But do you think Triple H ain't gonna have that too? We're gonna have a meeting to tell y'all I ain't a pushover. Come on now. That tell you is something wrong right there, dog.
To be real, I'm not sure if half the locker room could beat Triple H.
That CM Punk got squashed on Vince McMahon's birthday. Bruh.
Ooh.
Bruh. CM Punk got squashed on Vince McMahon's birthday.
You know, and I look at the way that was built too. If Vince saw CM Punk going off script, but it created such a buzz that everybody's talking. As much as I hate Vince would find a way to make that into a storyline and get more viewers.
Original pipe bomb. We got the Summer of Punk out of it.
Like, not to say that every wrestler should go off script, but if you got something that's working, like
not every, but see, that's what these new wrestlers got to realize is not all of you are CM Punk, not all of you are Kenny Omega, not all of you are Roman Reigns. I hate to tell y'all this, and that's why I even hate saying this. Because I love indie wrestling. I still watch so much independent wrestling. It's not funny. But man, what are we doing?
Listen. When he saw CM Punk was pissed, he gave him a microphone and said, "Say whatever you want about me and go out there." He told Paul Heyman to do the same. Hey, if you mad, just say it. It's correct.
Paul Heyman went the extra mile though and brought up his dad, who's lit. But Paul Heyman also knew his dad. He worked for his dad, so it was a different vibe. You know what I mean? They say Vince didn't care if you brought up his dad as long as you knew his dad.
So, but Tony Khan is never booked like Vince. That's the problem.
And he never will.
Vince McMahon will take
Social constraints wouldn't allow it. TV today's not gonna let you book 1996 to 2005 freaking WWE. It's not gonna happen. Vince McMahon can't come on TV and say nigga now. I'm sorry, he can't. And Tony Khan, please don't you do it either.
Please,
Tony. Hey, Tony, might he get on that stuff?
Hey, that could be. I take that back, Tony.
It's Tony.
You should throw sand in front of it, and you're lit.
We joking about PPvs. You know, somebody be.
He's joking. Let's be completely honest. You got to do something to save the ship, buddy, or Triple H finna take his golden sledgehammer and sink you.
Listen, but this is not like hating though. I want this to be considered constructive criticism.
Oh, yeah, I'm not hating. I'm a fan of so many people. I'm a fan of. Listen, we can go and we can talk about any Young Bucks match you want, any Kenny Omega match, any freaking really pick a wrestler that's wrestled in the last 10 years. We can probably have a conversation about a match they've had. But we got to start being honest about the product that we're getting.
Tristan, if I don't like something, I'm not talking about it. Bro, we stopped just for really because Raw got so boring that I'm like, it ain't no point. It's no more. That's why we stopped this whole thing, because we're like, yo, listen, Raw and SmackDown has been terrible. Vince don't care. He booked the same match. We find out he forgetting what he doing. It is absolutely horrible. So if I don't like something, we just not gonna talk about it no more. It's simple. I'm not finna see it. So
doesn't mean we weren't watching though, because we're fans.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie. It was in the background. I don't mean I was really watching it.
Yeah, I was saying it was background noise to more than a few game nights. But I mean,
hey, listen, if the crowd went crazy, I look back and see what happened. That's how I have to watch the show.
I have a question for y'all.
What's up, Joe?
Is AEW? Let's just go ahead and say it. Is AEW in the mud when it comes to booking? Because I know it was eventually going to happen. They was going to run into a snag like this. I saw that, but has it been elevated because Triple H is now the helm?
It's been elevated by quite a bit for the simple fact that Triple H is at the helm. For the simple fact that so many people, so many of his fresh new recruits that he just brought in. If we're being honest, if Triple H wouldn't have had his whole heart event and freaking Vince wouldn't have held this phantom grudge from him losing the Wednesday Night Wars, the new Wednesday Night Wars, freaking bruh, like most of these people wouldn't have left if Triple H didn't have his cardiac event and take those 6 to 8 months off before we found out about all of Vince's hush money payoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I think that's unfair.
Would those honestly, do you think those people would have left to begin with if Triple H and Shawn Michaels stayed in charge and we didn't do all? Because you got to remember when Triple H had that cardiac event or whatever, and that's when they did the transition to NXT 2.0.
Yeah.
Like, that's when we really knew that things like Vince was changing stuff. He didn't like losing in ratings to any way, shape, or form to any kind of competitor ever. You got to think Vince will switch nights if there's a playoff game on. He don't care. He's like, we'll do it some other time.
Or he'll just not care about his show because Monday Night Football, like, we ain't beating that. We ain't beating that.
Okay, I'm thinking of Vince back in. I'd be forgetting Vince is 77 now. He's out with the mistress now. He don't even care. Linda's nowhere to be seen at his birthday. He got another blonde lady with him. Pat McAfee and John Cena show up, and so does Brock Lesnar. I mean, with the cowboy hat on. But let's be honest, Vince might be living his best life right now, but it's probably killing him inside that he's not in control. But I think Triple H had a lot to do with all of the events that are transpiring in AEW to some degree, in one way, shape, or form, whether it be numbers wise, whether it be freaking commercially, whether it be freaking, I mean, you guys saw the tweet that allegedly Mega over there at AEW sent the email to Nick Khan, don't tamper with our talent. So I think that's a real question. Do you guys think that WWE's, because that's illegal, if
they ain't gonna do nothing about that. They did it with Jeff Hardy. Let's not pretend like AEW didn't do that with Jeff Hardy. Or,
I know that.
Or FTR.
But what I'm saying is,
they ain't gonna do nothing.
I honestly don't think that's Triple H's bag. Like,
they 100% hit over there. We ain't gonna pretend like they ain't. Triple H is way more. Vince, I don't want none of them vanilla midgets on my roster except for Jay and MJF, and everybody else can stay over there.
Tony Khan, I saw people they were like, look, Cody showed up at Sammy and Ty's wedding. Bruh, come on. Is that when it happened? Is that what you're telling me? That's when the tampering began? Cody came over to the wedding while everybody was there and started planting seeds.
Hey, Cody might be the other half.
I don't see that being Triple H's bag. I don't see Triple H. I don't see Triple H reaching out in any formal manner and just coming. Like, did he subtextually say it in some way?
Tor.
No, but I'm being for real, dude.
This man, don't forget the reign of terror. This man is not like just like this most positive dude ever. No, he won't crush whoever he want to crush. Let's not.
No, but
you saw the reign of terror. You saw the reign of terror.
You're forgetting a very important part of this.
Don't act like he changed. His competition now. He in charge.
No, I'm talking about when you got all these extra eyes on you right now from the Vince stuff. The shareholders are looking at everything extra close. Are you doing anything that would seem funny to them within the constraints of the law?
Tori, the AEW did it. They ain't gonna do nothing about it. AEW did it with FTR. We didn't sue you then.
I'm just saying. I don't see me personally.
Tori, this man had to reign of territory.
I don't think they need to. I don't think. Bro, I don't think Triple H has to reach out to any of these people. I think as soon as they found out that Triple H was taking over, most of them had that thought without any provocation from Triple H in any way, shape, or form. I honestly believe that. You can't tell me otherwise.
Tori, this man had to reign of terror. I will not put nothing past a cerebral assassin. I promise you, I'm not doing.
Those. No, listen,
Tori, that man will win at any
I'm
cost.
not clapping for these people, bro. I'm just being honest. I'm literally just saying what I think.
Tori, he got something to prove.
I don't see it. And if you do,
Tori, he got something to prove. All I know, Paul Levesque, when he got something to prove, will bury anything by he need and do whatever it takes.
That's the thing.
To win.
I don't think he came in there with that energy. Because if you look, because if he came in there with that, we wouldn't have got all the I don't see anything difference that we got. Bro, how many fucking people did you see online in general saying, I don't see the difference in it now that Triple H is taking
they got haters, Tori. They got haters. You got to understand it.
But I'm saying, all I'm saying is I'm not willing to say that I believe that. With no evidence whatsoever. Just because Mega sent, who the fuck is Mega? I've seen him in like 2 vlogs. Who the fuck is Mega? Why do you think this name means anything to us?
Tor, Vince Russo literally said he didn't see no chain the first week. Now he's having a whole video
flipping into his Russo phase.
Now he's doing casual stuff.
Into his Russo phase. Why do I feel like we're arguing over something we agree about? But
I'm telling you, he's going 100% do it.
No, I'm telling
Jared,
you,
your part.
they can't.
Jared, what you gotta say, Jared?
Listen. Who's going to come out and say, yeah, Triple H got at me? Who is going to say that and risk any chance they have of coming back in any way, shape, or form?
Somebody told Sean Ross that.
Bruh, somebody's always telling Sean Ross Sapp something.
It's crazy because both of y'all were on the same side, but y'all was out, and I'm just listening because that's the type of stuff I love. Y'all was on the same side, but y'all were looking at it differently, and I do enjoy that. And the way I see it, because Triple H does have a mindset of crush whoever's coming, but Triple H also was told by Vince to get as many indie stars as he could. Right now, this roster that WWE has is the best roster they've ever had in their entire life, entire tenure. That you got
in the ring, most definitely.
Yeah, in the ring.
Maybe even entertainment wise to a certain extent, because, like I said, a lot of the stuff that we loved did not age well from the Attitude Era. A lot of that stuff did not. It's still beautiful to us, but from the perspective of the general public, a lot of that is mad crazy. And I'm okay with that. I love it, but it's just not going to work today, so you can't expect it. But I think right now, with Triple H at the helm, we are starting, because Triple H can have the mindset to crush whoever he's against, but let's not act like we didn't just give him the keys to a goddamn whole battleship just off the gate anyways. You just took over.
Tor, let Gerald finish.
And I agree, he kind of took over, and Triple H may have reached out to a talent, and the talent would probably be Adam Cole.
Oh, that'd be lit.
I feel like he may have reached out to him because he had a vision for Adam Cole and that entire group. So that could have been hey, it probably wasn't even anything, but it could have been Triple H was hey, I'm at the helm, we miss you, bro. And that could have been it, but that could have got blown out of proportion. But honestly, maybe it couldn't have. That's not. But as soon as Triple H took over, everybody was hey, Triple H is over. So Vince saw Adam Cole and decided to put him as a manager with a haircut. Vince saw Keith Lee and said, let's make him Bearcat. Vince saw Swerve and said, let's put them in Hit Row. Hit Row is good, but they attitude bad, so let's get rid of him. Vince said, let's get rid of all the Hit Row. Vince said, I don't understand Andrade. All of these people is okay, Triple H saw a different vision with me. Triple H saw me at the top. So now that Triple H is over everything, Triple H could see me at the top. I felt like he may have reached out, to your point, he may have reached out, and Triple H does have that cerebral, assassin to him. He will always be that. He may have reached out, but I know for a fact, especially with this backstage this past week, he's just, AEW don't know, we don't have a leader, is the way they feel. We don't really have a leader. So they know they're going to go to Triple H. And it's or at least talks is going to be man, I remember, Tony Storm was about to get on top. Of course, she got pied in the face. I know Ruby Soho could have been huge. Look at Liv Morgan. She's got.
I don't see that. I'm with you, but I don't think Ruby Rose. Bruh, she had a decent indie run. She had an okay run in NXT. I think AEW did her a favor. They really did puff her up more than anybody was ever going to.
Yeah.
That's cool, but she couldn't have, because Liv Morgan just, I hate to say it, sometimes it comes down to the look. Yeah, but I'm with you.
That's true. I just felt like it was just it was bound to happen, especially now that we got the end of Index on NXT. Johnny Gargano came and didn't nobody know that was happening. I mean, I popped in his old music.
Yeah, it was a real surprise. I was happy.
A random commercial, bro, was like it didn't like they showed the arena and nothing happened, and just
exactly. And I'm
it
already
took a second for it to register.
Even
Everyone was just like,
the fans was like, you saw doing the thing saying.
I was saying he took the double take. He was like, huh?
It wasn't even like that pop at the initial pop. They showed love after.
It was the wave pop though. Like the crowd went off. Like it started at the front and then moved its way back. It grew. It was a shock. It was cool.
Yeah, it was a shock. And now I'm thinking of matches like DIY versus Usos. I'm just
that's the only match I want to see. The only one. Listen, just give me it. We talk about how we think the Usos are so good, and we want to give them a team that they can really shine with, bruh.
I see,
but Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa make magic no matter what, whether they're tag team partners, whether they're opponents, it's whatever.
I want y'all to go look at that match. I know it got ruined because of the weird pasta, but look at look at when it was the Revival versus the Usos on SmackDown that time. That match was a banger, and nobody thought about it because it was weird because they was like getting shaved and stuff.
Yeah, that's another team who I wish was on WWE.
By the way, that's who I think got hit up because a lot of them people got long country. I don't know how long FTR contract is.
FTR.
Yeah, most people signed 5-year deals, so
they've been there for a little bit longer.
And they signed them in what, like 2020? Some in 2021.
Well, I don't know if 2020 they were signing them 5. That's now.
Yeah,
I don't know if 2020 because I know a lot of people contract coming up soon. That is interesting, but
past anybody going into free agencies. Who do you think Triple H would be willing to buy out of their contract? Is there anybody on their roster he'd be? Man, okay, they have to be willing to go. Do you think that they're will? I mean,
listen. Let's be honest though.
They're so close with Edge. Maybe they would.
Listen,
but
as the promo with the Briscoe said, we didn't know who y'all was till you got to the machine of NXT. That was a fire promo, by the way.
It was.
He said, like, listen, you was this dude and you was this dude and nobody knew who y'all was. And then all of a sudden, under the machine of Triple H and them, you became the Revival.
The Revival.
So I don't know if they will ever go to Vince, but Trips.
Yeah.
You kind of started this beast right now.
I don't know. Because I just feel like they're built the legacy they're actually building right now. Now that Tony Khan's actually letting them wrestle, why he hasn't went ahead and put the
Young Bucks might be the reason why not, Tor. The Young Bucks might be the reason why.
And that's another conversation in itself because FTR to me is the best.
It's always weird when you got EPs as presidents, but they compete too. I feel like that's how's that not a conflict of interest?
And then you put titles on them.
They don't matter right now.
Yeah.
Well, I know they're privately owned, but I mean, how do you not see that being a problem as the private owner of that business? How do you not see that being a problem?
Listen, we see
that you've got active participants.
Listen, from the
that you have on paper.
Listen,
as executive producer,
you don't have to even be EVP. According to the rumors from shout out to JD and them last night, Britt Peck have been trying to ruin Thunda Rosa's career. Throwing out that
that's what they say.
Throwing out, she's sandbagging, she doing it, she breaking noses, she causing Jamie, she's running from Jamie Hater, she doing all this, and according to everybody, Britt Baker the one. According to everybody, Britt Baker the one who's throwing this out because she don't like her. And then last night, after the report came out from JD, Britt Baker, real life, had a picture of her holding the belt in front of Thunda Rosa and put it on Twitter. Just to troll her again.
I've already told you.
She ain't EVP.
I already told you. I don't even think they need a women's division. If I'm keeping it a buck, you ain't got enough. You barely got enough time for the men.
Yo, listen.
You've got some of the greatest talent in the world and ain't got a time slot for them. That's a crazy problem to have. Yeah. And you could take out the whole women's division, and I promise you, freaking the matches that we were going to talk about, we're still going to talk about.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Jared, but I want to answer your initial question and go back to you real quick. Do I think Triple H caused this? Because we went on around.
But no, that all links back to Triple H caused every problem.
I disagree. I'm going to say why. I'm going to tell you why I disagree. This started 2
I'm
months.
still gonna disagree and think that he does.
This booking was 2 months, but when everybody got injured, the booking just turned bad. 3 months ago. It was before Triple H even took over. Triple H wasn't even with the company. He just
no, but it was around when we first started hearing the Vince grumblings.
No, it happened a month before that tour. When everybody got injured, the booking got bad. Tour
like 4 weeks is not that long. All I'm saying is,
it got bad when everybody got hurt.
I'm saying everything from the success, from the hype that they built up originally was the hype of being on Wednesday night against NXT and consistently beating them 20-something weeks in a row. Bruh, that was the start of some of the real hype for AEW. That is literally coming from being in competition with Triple H.
But I'm saying that the bad booking started before
that. We're talking about did Triple H have anything to do with the problems that are in AEW? I'm saying you could damn near direct every problem in AEW in one way, shape, or form. It could find its way back to Triple H and WWE from the beginning when they first announced that Wednesday slot, and we all know NXT was on Wednesday. Since they first released it, that's the time slot they were getting. We all saw it from the get-go.
I don't know if it's the booking problems. We talking about specifically the booking. I'm talking about business influence. They're in the same business. The influence is unavoidable. When Tony Khan couldn't fantasy book his favorite wrestlers because they all got injured, the booking went terrible because he got exposed that he ain't really do nothing but fantasy style book. When all the free agents dried up and he couldn't debut
everybody that he would have fantasy booked. How do we know this wasn't Vince's plan? He's like, I'm gonna send you all these prima donnas and have your locker room looking crazy.
all these when he couldn't fantasy.
That's all I'm saying. I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm just saying.
3 months, Tor. When the last time he got a special announcement, Tor?
He has a golden sledgehammer. They crushed his throne. How do you think he's not over here influencing?
I got a question. When the last time he had a special announcement? Been 3 months, right?
He don't need them. We've been waiting for this for years. We don't need a special moment. We're just happy he's in talk.
I'm talking about he always called. We got a special announcement on AEW Dynamite.
Oh, okay. You're talking about Tony.
Yeah.
Tony. Yeah. He's been beaten into submission by his own locker room because
there is no more free agents, dog. There ain't nobody coming through that door. That's
what I'm saying.
All been recruited.
And I'll tell you what started that was Cody Rhodes walking out. That kind of stuff.
That tide could change.
And then MJF kind of being like, I don't want to be here. I hate y'all. My best friend Cody is over there in the other company.
What? My question is,
his first feud was Cody.
Yeah.
Cody, the reason he is there.
My question is, what would they do with MJF if he was still there? Because he's been on that roster 2 or 3, 4 years without a title.
No title. Only one with no title.
They could have listen. They should have put a belt on him before any of this happened. You can go back, check the record, check the episodes. I've been telling Tony Khan to put the belt on MJF long since, even before he started this beef with Punk. I've been saying it's crazy. Like before this feud got full bloody on, and we saw the amazing build, the amazing matches, like CM Punk coming out to freaking Misery and Kentare. It was a whole moment. Like, but I think it can all be, like I said, I think you can link it all back to Triple H still.
But MJF, the thing about it, again, MJF left, Punk got hurt, Cole got hurt, Brian Danielson got hurt.
MJF's a work, yo. Didn't you know MJF's a work?
Bro, you cannot tell me it's a work. He don't be on TV too. Man. They keep telling
we wasted his 2 months of greatest heat ever for a work because it's gonna pay off now.
Dude told me it's a work and it's been proven it's a work. I'm like, bro, we ain't seen him, bro. I don't know how you prove something we ain't seen. He ain't been on TV. And then y'all idea is that he's gonna get a title shot. I'm like,
he hasn't been on Twitter, Instagram, anything.
Yo, and your idea that he somehow will get a title shot after cussing the boss out, that would make Tony Khan look like the weakest man on earth. Like I just dished you and then come back, and then the second I come back, I get a title shot. Doesn't make sense. I keep
and think that was before Tony grew a pair of balls and brought in his heavy hitter Kenny Omega to talk to everybody. I know we're gonna get to that this whole meeting, like, bro. But like I said, if you don't think we can't trace everything back to Triple H,
bro, I trace it back from him being too nice, and I said in the first episode, like, bro, you cannot be that nice to your employee. They sooner or later they're gonna start taking tokens and being like, yo, I've been doing this for years, and I'm gonna do it. Jared, I don't know your thoughts on all of this. How do you feel? Do you think Tony Khan been too soft, and now he finally grew a pair, and he's like, yo, listen, I'm not a pushover?
Tony Khan really, I mean, it's too late to say, hey, I'm not a pushover. If you've allowed people to just act out, if you allow Joe Product to just say, you want that's the thing. That's what Tony Khan's main marketing tool was. Said, we're not like WWE. I'm gonna let the employees do what they want, i.e. NWO. But when you keep letting them do that and then decide to take power away, you're gonna have a power struggle, because say, hey, I had this power once, and now I'm getting squashed like CM Punk, on Wednesday. Now I'm getting squashed immediately when I gave up half my body because and there's a certain style.
I'm gonna give him that credit. He called the CM Punk squash before it happened. I didn't think Tony Khan was that stupid. I didn't think he had the. But if he just did it, if he just did it to have Punk win back the belt,
that's the worst storyline I've ever
in his hometown. Oh my Lord, he has entered his Russo phase, and there's no arguing with that. If we don't have to wait at least a month or two before Triple H, before CM Punk gets another shot at the belt, like, there's got to be something. He can't get that next weekend and us feel like, oh, this was a full-fledged story that was amazing with all of no bills.
Yeah, I want to ask Jared about this next. Basically, what Dave Meltzer is reporting that next week at All Out, it's going to be Punk and Moxley. My question is, how does this story even make sense? I've seen so many excuses from, he gonna do his rematch clause. Everybody like, why Hangman ain't got his rematch clause yet? Why Kenny ain't got his back? Like, they were like, they waiting it. I'm like, why are they choosing to wait when the other people don't, when you want to be the champion?
I got a question. What happened to the ranking system?
They don't care about that no more. Jay Lethal's like ranked number 3 somehow, and he never, Maria Shafir is getting in this. I mean, not Maria. What's her name is getting in this. Hater is getting in this championship match for the women's belt, and she ain't been on TV wrestling in months. She been at AEW Dark the whole time. I'm like, bro, how are your top ranking people not getting on the show?
They got to stack the wins up on Dark, bro.
And then don't you get it? Shot. Like, what if I'm just a casual? So I have to watch Dark to know who the number one contender is?
Yeah, they want you to be in the AEW EU. They want you in that extended universe, bro.
FTR been number 1 tag team rankings and haven't even got a title shot since the show started. That's
ugly.
How they got a belt from every promotion but the one they're signed to?
Yo, they've been ranked number 1 since it started, dog.
and it don't really make sense, because you have like your FTRs, like they supposed to have been like, we ain't got FTR versus Young Bucks yet.
We did on that. Like, we did that one show, but it wasn't for nothing.
We did get 2. We still need 3 because they're technically it.
Well, yeah. Yeah. But like, why haven't they tasted those tag team titles yet? When they
right now, Swerve and Our Glory has the titles. I still think it's crazy that you put them. I mean, good for them. If I had it my way, just put the belt on the Acclaimed at All Out, please. Max Caster and Anthony Bowen are a gem.
Yeah. But they are, and Max Caster is getting better. I give it to him.
What you said, Jared?
I said Max Caster is getting better.
I said what you were saying before that.
Oh, what was I
about the ranking system?
Oh yeah, but like I'm thinking about the ranking system because, and again I have to go back to WWE because that's what I'm used to. Like, we know who's next up for Roman. Is Drew. We know who might be lurking is Karrion Kross. I like that idea because it keeps that title moving, even though he had both titles. We know Seth Rollins he eventually gonna come back You know, Bobby Lashley is killing it right now, getting, you know, he a baby face. Like, we got people who is next up. After CM Punk and John Moxley, who next up?
Whoever Tony feel like randomly that week.
And that's the problem.
I don't know how he got back to John Moxley. I don't know what made him think.
Question.
He wanted to be the
What made you think, hey, I'm going to make him my champion? Like, you don't have, bro, so many better choices. Why is Bryan Danielson the only member of the BCC without a belt?
Yo, half the roster got a belt, so I don't know what that matters.
So why not Bryan
Except
Danielson?
for possibly the greatest wrestler of our generation. He doesn't have one.
He don't have one.
Pretty sure Chris Jericho got some belt somewhere that he don't bring up.
Adam Cole still got the pink belt that they made for Owen Hart. Thank God they didn't let him carry that, or good thinking for it. Well, he got injured. Never mind. He probably
another situation.
I was gonna say he is injured, so I'm sure but Britt hasn't been carrying hers either. So I'm thinking they thought better of that, because that would have just looked wild.
Eddy Kingston out here pieing Sammy Guevara. How y'all feel about this?
Hey. He admitted he was wrong.
Shout out to him though. Shout out to growth.
I'll give him to that. I gotta give it to him.
I understand where he was coming from though. Like, you're gonna go out there on a promo and tell them I'm a fat piece of shit when you know I'm going over. How am I going over if I'm just a fat piece? I mean, it's the old school way of looking at wrestling, but it's the way that makes the most sense. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with booking logically. Everything doesn't need to be a swerve and a surprise. Sometimes point A to point B is just the best route.
Mm-hmm.
But they do stuff like with the rankings where we get all these matches that are on YouTube that nobody sees, and then all of a sudden we've got a mystery new contender that hopped up 5. Like, all of a sudden these rankings don't make sense once you look at the people that are on the paper.
Jared, how you feel about the Eddy Kingston pieing Sammy Guevara?
There's two things. I respect it. I respect him apologizing. But I also have to look at Tony Khan, because your locker room is disjointed. If people going, you know, for a minute, like when Charlotte went, you know, on Nia Jax, however you say it, you know, how they went at it, you know, I'm like, okay, that has to be fixed in the locker room. But this led to the locker room, and I'm just like, what's, you know, Tony, you got people out here just, and that's probably could be why Warner Brothers sent that script. Like, you can't have people going off script. Was Sammy's stuff on script? I'm not too sure. I know it set Eddy up for like, hey, you didn't have to say that about me. If that was part of the script, Eddy would be slapping one of the writers. But apparently they just going on their own. So, you know, that caused a fight. And now Eddy Kingston, who has been mentioned in the past 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, you know, at least in somebody's mouth where he's been there, is now suspended. So we're going to have to look at, you know, the next few AEWs without him and wonder why he ain't there. So then you got to get on the internet and see what happens. Say, oh, that's why. And why is this just happening? If your stuff is controlled inside, the only time somebody should be actually shooting is in the ring. Charlotte and Nia Jax went back to the locker room, and that was squashed. That was nothing. But yeah,
they fired that was real squash.
Yeah, that was real squash. They was done because they knew who was more valuable. But like, I can't. You gotta have control. Yeah. If you see 2 kids about to fight, why they taking it to the locker room? Tony Khan's there. Like, hey, y'all, one of y'all fight, y'all gonna get suspended. Or like somebody break this up. There's a locker room in here. Like, you just
really like a high school. Huh? Some of the memes are right.
Yo, Gerald, I would disagree with you, but on Friday's show, I think it was Friday, Eddy Kingston is videos saying, "Oh, y'all think this will work? When I see him, I'm gonna handle him, and y'all think it's a work or whatever. I'm not playing." I'm like, you wouldn't say that when somebody recording you on Instagram if you didn't mean it. And then he goes and confronts him for real. You knew what was happening. It's on the internet, Tony. He said when a wrestler used the word work, that means they are not. You think that means he is really gonna do it. Tony, that is your job, right? Or somebody in your office should be like, yo, listen, he said work on a random Instagram. Was it Instagram post? What was it on when he said, y'all think it's a work? When he was at he was in the cafeteria.
I know I saw it on Twitter, but it could have easily originally came from Instagram.
Yeah. So he was saying,
But-
he's like, I'm gonna handle him because I heard what he said, and this not a work. Y'all think I'm playing. And I'm like, that means he's serious. He said the word work. That means he is not. You don't say that as a wrestler.
He blatantly told you this is not a work. He was like, I'm finna shoot on him.
Yeah. He said all the words you don't say in a work.
And that's why I
And
respect
then got
Eddie.
suspended for what he said he was
got
gonna
suspended.
do.
And then I think that's where the letter came from.
Yeah.
With all that situation, I mean, I know it came from, a lot of people going off script, but this latest situation that got one of their top stars fired, suspended, and now he ain't gonna be on for a couple of weeks. Like that's one thing that your parent company or the company that's hosting you shouldn't be sending you letters to tell you to calm down. I ain't never seen USA Network told WWE say, hey, calm down with the hot lesbian action.
And but think even now, Eddie's such a stand-up guy. You can go look at Twitter. He is now telling the fans to leave Sammy alone because people are coming because they feel like Sammy's in the wrong here. Like they see where he's coming from.
That's Tony's fault too. He said something that
most definitely
Tony got to get a hold of it, bro. You got to meet them before it happened and be like, hey, listen, I don't know what's going. If you cut it, that means you know Eddie's mad about it. If you cut it because he didn't handle that before it gets big. That's my only problem with it. If something happened and you ain't got no control over it, I can't blame Tony. But if you see it, if you cut the video and then you see Eddie cut a promo say he's not doing a work, I'm really gonna confront this dude. You gotta stop it before Wednesday, my guy.
You have to. And that's just AEW's that's WWE has a culture. And that's AEW doesn't have a culture right now. So everybody's just kind of going, doing what they want and everything on the side. And that comes down to Tony Khan. That's why, although I may not agree with what Tori says, like a women's division, I feel like everybody needs a women's division. I totally understand, because if you ain't got no direction, why are you wasting these women's talent? Let them go and let them go other places and actually get the chance to wrestle.
Impact women division, amazing.
I mean, Impact, they in ladder matches.
Anyone that says AEW's women's division isn't just spinning their tires at this point is lying to themselves. We are about to have a fatal four-way for the interim champion. What are we doing?
What if Trips and them got wind that Thunda Rosa been getting treated bad by Britt Peck and he hit that call to her? Thunda Rosa can go in her.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. What if Triple H put the call into JR?
I mean, and just even if they're on a Legends contract.
Let's not act like JR didn't make Triple H's career damn near. The game promo happened from an interview with JR.
Michael Cole on fire right now, though. I'm gonna let him rock a little bit.
Hey, Michael Cole.
Michael and Pat.
He's been a whole new announcer since Vince is gone. It's wild.
When Pat
even Bailey doesn't hate on him anymore. Or wait, Bailey's on Raw, isn't she?
No, she came in. She was yelling "ding dong" at him the whole time. Ding dong, Michael Cole. Ding dong. Then she's like, "Hey Pat, how you doing?" Ding dong, Michael Cole. So she's still doing it. So, but they said they got that relationship in the back anyway. So it's kind of always
the culture.
Yeah,
and that's what all works.
Yeah,
I mean, and the thing is, what we all forgetting, especially with the women's division, like even though Triple H is the helm, Stephanie is the one that's in control of the women.
She's the one who announced the women's revolution with the Mae Young Classic, which put a lot of
and that's what Tony Khan needs.
Don't forget where Ronda got her WWE start. That tag match with The Rock with Triple H and Stephanie, yo.
That's like, and Tony Khan needs a Stephanie in order to bring his women's division out of the mud. Because I mean,
he tried to get that with Brandy. Let's be honest. He thought he was getting
he got Madison Rain now, which I think is excellent. But you gotta let her work, Tony. They gotta be on TV.
She ain't no Stephanie, bruh. Not in name, not in wealth, not in influence.
Let's be real. She the one you can get, bro. Let's be honest. Because Impact women are amazing, but they ain't leaving it.
As close to a female Vince as we're ever gonna get. Only she's willing to listen to her booking genius. Well, not even booking genius. Her actually experienced booking husband. I'm not even going to call Triple H a booking genius, even though he gave us such classics as freaking Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano at TakeOver 2015.
I mean,
just to name one.
The Cruiserweight Classic, it was no bad match.
Cruiserweight Classic, the most underrated. Hey, Kota Ibushi and Brian Kendrick had the most underrated match ever on the Cruiserweight Classic.
So
People got, I will never not tell people to watch that match. Kota Ibushi versus Brian Kendrick at the Cruiserweight
You didn't watch
Classic.
The whole thing, dog. If you could the
Oh,
whole,
But even if you don't, if you just watch that one match, you would be like, "Oh my lord!"
See, and my yours today was good, but watching Cedric and Coda, and I was just like, I said, okay, Cedric, and I was like, please sign Cedric, and I was like, please sign him. I was screaming at the TV.
who was Zac Sabre match was good. Zac Sabre had an amazing match too.
Who do you think?
He's Zack Sabre Jr. Who's he not having an amazing match with?
That's true.
Who's he not having an amazing
Not
match
according to Dave Meltzer, who gave what's
a
that?
4.75 is decent, man.
Yeah, it's not a 5.
He gave him a 4.75. But if you
Yo,
go
Dave
look at
gave
Will,
one dude, Will Ospreay, 3 5-star this week.
and I was about to say just this week, Dave gave him 3 5-stars.
He love Will Ospreay. I ain't gonna hate on him.
And let's not. I'm not capping. Will Ospreay could be one of the greatest wrestlers in the world right now. He could be one of the best of this generation. He literally everything people complained about him, he changed it. We said he was too scrawny. He built the muscle. We said his promos were garbage. I don't know if you guys saw that little after promo with him and Kenny. That was gold.
I do got one problem with Ospreay, and that sometimes he sells early-ish on stuff.
But I looked at that. Is that on him or is that on the camera angle when stuff like that happens?
Bro,
because some of that stuff can be fixed with a simple.
5 times I saw him ready to reach for a person before they was even ready to do their move, and I'm like, it's noticeable.
That's his thing though. If you go back and watch his match, that's just
it annoys me
I hate to say this,
person
but
that
that's
loves
when
stuff.
you got to think when he does that high flying stuff like that. You got to think that stuff he just did with Ray Phoenix in that ring. That's the stuff he used to regularly do. If you've seen him in New Japan, that's not the way he wrestles because he wrestles in Japan, and that's not what they're into like that. So, I mean, I know he was the aerial assassin for years. I was watching him when he was winning belts in Rev Pro. He was still the Rev Pro champion. I mean, you go back and watch him and freaking Ricochet and freaking it's either Lucha Underground
him versus Seth Rollins either having a WrestleMania right now.
Will Ospreay in the WWE would be give us that Seth Rollins match.
You don't even need a story. They already built it. They built it 5 years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say they have already built it on social media. Yeah. But no, wait, because we gotta get this Will Ospreay Kenny Omega match. I don't even care about the 6-man they're about to have. I'm trying to see Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay. I need that for my New Japan continuity to launch. Like he bruh.
Should Omega get the championship? Should he have the AEW championship right now?
Who, Kenny?
Tori won too, but I don't know
Kenny just got back. I love Kenny, but Kenny just got back. I understand you got to get him to move around a little bit, but I mean, I guess if we're going to throw the
he gotta get his herb back too. That's why you can be in triple 6-man matches. You gotta get your herb back. I understand.
Yeah, but who do you guys really see beating them in this 6-man tournament? It is literally we are in all elite wrestling. The elite are in this tournament. Kenny Omega is coming back from all these surgeries and everything. He's, as Zelmay loves so much, he's selling us the injury story. Is Kenny Omega at 100%? He couldn't hit the Terminator dive, but I mean,
they could play into it if Will and them win.
They could, but if we're just gonna why are you even listen? Whether Tony realizes this or not, Ospreay and freaking Kenny Omega is a match that draws. Yeah. That is a main event that draws on your key demo for real. As much as you want to talk about the key demo, I can't find any wrestling fan that's not trying to see that. But what you're saying about him quick selling, like beforehand, mostly on the whips. I know what you're talking about. When they're coming across, when they first start to travel across.
I'm seeing your hands preparing, though. Why would you just reverse it?
But you gotta think that's where the back. I think he sort of has to do that because you got to think where he's been wrestling outside of New Japan lately, and he's been incorporating more of these flips back in. He's sort of got to be ready and quicker because that little flip rollout that he does of the Hurricane Rana, that can't be easy to do.
He very impressive, by the way. He is always
Oh
impressive.
yeah. I understand what you're saying. That
it takes
really
me out
can't
of
be
it sometimes.
fixed.
Sometimes it takes me out because I'm like, I'm seeing that you preparing for a move, and I know they see it.
But then you look at the technical move that he pulls off, and you sort of understand why he's making sure he's ready at a moment's notice. Because think, if one thing goes wrong in there, either one of them could end up messed up. What if he doesn't make a full rotation on the flip?
I don't want.
What if Phoenix doesn't get his boots all the way around? It freaking lands on his head, flies off his neck. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff can happen. But I see what you're saying. That can sort of take you out of it. But I'm always going to play devil's advocate, so I can sort of see why he's doing that once you see the product of what they do afterwards.
Yeah, I don't want to go into Friday Night Years. They about to start, so follow them, watch them after. But we got a few more. Yeah. I want to say this, and I'm gonna get y'all thoughts real quick, and then we got to go over the pay-per-views and what we think gonna be the best pay-per-view, and then we can get out of here.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the pay-per-views.
Yeah, they 3 of them next week. Triple H said NXT going back against AEW. So all I gotta say is, if they do what they're being said about Punk and getting that match Saturday, this might be getting closer to finger poke of doom. I'm not saying it now. It ain't now. I know some people I think it's crazy. Finger poke of doom was terrible, horrible. So it ain't there yet. It's more like kind of the disappointment of the Fiend versus Seth Rollins.
The new age Hulk Hogan. Is that what you're telling me right now?
No,
CM Punk is ready to go
right
down
now it's Seth Rollins versus the Fiend with the disappointment you had in. That's all it is.
Yeah, cool.
Because everybody.
How do you call off a goddamn no disqualification match? How do you disqualify him from the no disqualification?
JR said the match was going to be the greatest match in AEW history, and then we got a 3-minute squash off of injury.
3-minute squash.
So I get to this point. If you do this next week and try to sell me on this match, and then just because CM Punk turned heel, I'm like, this is just it makes no sense. Did his foot heal in a week? Why does he get a rematch after he just lost?
Hey, 2 Death Riders, bro. Maybe 2 Death Riders will turn you heel.
Hey, listen, how does he get a rematch in the next week? Like, I know how they're gonna do it. He gonna be like, "You scared to face me again on this Friday show on tonight on Rampage or next week?" And he gonna be like, "I ain't scared. I'll beat you again."
It can't be that early. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
If they work that angle tonight at 10:00 after this just happened Wednesday, that's crazy. Tony Khan is bold.
Yo, and then all he gonna do is say, "You won't face me," and then John gonna be like, "I will face you again and destroy you again." Then they have a good match. I'm gonna be like, bro,
they're gonna have a first blood match.
I'm gonna be like, this is strange, dog. Why did he get this match for? Like, what? You got all these wrestlers that say you number 1 contender, and you just give a man a rematch a week after his foot hurt. How does his foot heal that fast and now he can actually move on it? Bro, I don't know if anybody ever got re-injured. Gerald, you ever got re-injured?
They got Doc Samson back there, bro. They got Doc Samson back there. He's the greatest doctor in the world. He's like Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman.
So
Doc Samson. Gerald, what are you talking about?
Gerald, you re-injure yourself. You don't think the same. It's not. Your mind get unfocused. You can't play that off. That's worse than coming back from the first injury. When you re-injure it slightly, you get nervous. Like, Gerald, you ever been injured and got re-injured on something?
My ankle roll playing basketball. That's about it. I just had an ankle roll.
I tore my shoulder once and then tore it again freaking like 2 months after getting out of physical therapy and had to go back and get the same surgery. It's not fun.
It messes with you. So you telling me he gonna heal and it won't make sense. But let's get in these pay-per-view. This is the only question I want to ask. We're gonna get out here and let Friday Night Year go stay on the channel, go live when they on. What's gonna be
more rest?
Yeah. What is the best thing? Which one is gonna be the best pay-per-view of the weekend? Which looks to be the best? Right now, for the first time in years, I can say Clash of WWE look like they have a better pay-per-view than all that.
That's crazy. Because you're right. It's been a long time since we could say overall their card looks better.
I mean, your main event is Roman and Drew, which is, you already know they bounce. I mean,
we've seen it a couple times already. We know it's going to be fire. I mean, it was fire the first couple times.
And Roman, since he's had this run, hasn't had a bad match yet. And Drew,
except for the Kevin Owens handcuff
That
spot.
that was his fault. That was
Bro, how long was he? He was on the floor way longer than the 10 count.
Yo, but shout out to Roman for like trying to tell the story about knocking the referee out.
That's true.
Yeah,
I gotta make up for this.
For actually hitting him with the golf cart. Yeah. Thank you, Roman. That meme will live on forever.
Yeah.
Roman the king of memes, by the way.
He's killing it.
This man got so many memes
on
Twitter.
Y'all saw the acknowledge me boxers. He out here changing the game.
He working it.
What you were saying, Gerald?
It's hard because I know they got the trips going. Like I'm hoping AEW they give me Powerhouse Hobbs versus Ricky Starks. Has that been announced?
Not yet.
That's my match right there. That's the one I'm seeing because I see charisma between both of them, and I see both of them at the top of the card. Like they should be up there with, honestly, and I hate to say this, they should be up there with the elite, and I hate to say it because the elite shouldn't always keep themselves up there. Like that's terrible booking.
Hey, don't forget that hand sign, man. They're even too sweet, and let's quit playing. These kids have dreamed about being Kevin Nash and Scott Hall for a long portion of their lives.
And they are. I said, but like I can't see nothing better than this clash. I mean, even down to Liv Morgan versus Shayna, with their history. Like you get.
What if Triple H steals Tony's thunder and sends out Bray Wyatt at Clash of the Castle?
See, that's
this random pay-per-view. It ain't even one of the big three. It's like I can get off the random surprise too. What would y'all do? Because what does Tony? What do you do to combat that? Bray is the last white whale of any free agent that's out there, let's be honest, he'd run back to Triple H in a heartbeat. Yeah. Triple H okayed the original Wyatt family.
Exactly.
But I'm just saying, what do you guys think? What could Tony do to combat
ain't nothing
that?
He can do about that. He the biggest free agent. Or what person can you bring in? Like I'm saying, by far.
There's no person you can bring in. He'd have to bring in The Rock.
I would love to. Hey, PK, if you can pull The Rock, please.
Gerald, listen. Sheamus Gunther match of the weekend.
Whew.
That's going
very possible.
And that's the one I forgot
very possible.
I see title is hot right now.
Sheamus and Gunther. Wait, who Bobby facing? Bobby facing somebody, ain't he?
Not yet. They ain't announced it yet.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say I don't think he's on the card yet.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he'll put the US title on the card.
Sheamus
I'm here for do you guys think we get a Karrion Kross interference in that Roman Drew match?
I don't know.
We should. It has to go with the story. I mean, because I'm looking at Drew and I'm looking at Roman, and I don't really want either one to really take a definitive loss because this is Clash.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping Karrion gets in there.
See, that's how you know Gerald's a real fan because he's like, I don't want either one of these dudes to lose.
I don't.
There is integrity here, man. I don't want either one of y'all to take an L.
Honestly.
And I agree, though. I think it's hard to watch either one of them take an L. That's why I sort of feel like you have to. But are we immediately gonna judge him for that? Is my big thought. Are we gonna judge him for because if it was Vince, we'd be like, oh, of course there was a DQ stoppage in the championship match. We would. We have before.
But Jared, what's the best? What you looking at pay-per-view wise? What's the best one? Worlds Collide?
I think he already told us.
It's got to be Clash. One thing I think to look out for. I look out for anything Escobar does, anything he does.
I think he's coming to SmackDown tonight. I gotta get
he needs to. The whole crew too. His whole entourage, and you put him at
he said he was taking them with him.
Yeah, put him there with Karrion and just have him. But Clash is hard to do. I mean, Tyler Bate versus Braun is gonna be really good.
That's gonna be such a slapper.
that's gonna be good. And then when Tyler's done, put him up to the main roster, get Butch name out for him, get him Pete Dunne, and get him a bruiser, and have them go at it again. Or
he said he wants the bruiserweight versus the mustache 3 because this would be 3.
Yeah, 3. Yeah, get them in there.
We got the rubber match,
but you can't beat Clash. And like I don't even know all of Clash's. I don't even know all the matches. But I mean, Sheamus and Gunther alone is.
But they got Bryan Danielson and Chris Jericho on All Out, the American Dragon versus the Lionheart, and I love Bryan Danielson.
I mean, Bryan Danielson, he's my top 5.
He's amazing. But I was trying to play devil's advocate for AEW, and I know I said it jokingly, but like, what other matches? Like, I mean, CM Punk versus Moxley is
I'm
crazy at this point. Seeing that,
I'm cool off that. I'm 100%
They
cool.
ruined it, bro. Like that's not even a deal.
it's way too soon.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what he does, maybe he'll listen to all the people being like, "We don't want to see this," but I don't know.
You got Dancing versus Jericho, and I
dropping his nuts.
seen that in WWE. A lot of people don't understand it,
And I love Bryan Danielson, but
we all do. He is like I said earlier, arguably the greatest wrestler of this generation.
I'll tell you, if it was a triple threat with him, CM Punk, and Moxley, they'd have something. Because
but they're in the same faction though.
That's true. But I like to see that story. I mean, I'll tell you the truth. I don't like that faction. And it's mainly because I feel like I'm biased completely, but all of them are singles wrestlers. And
very true.
You put all of them together and now all of a sudden they friends. Well, I want to see Bryan Danielson versus Claudio.
They did announce it, Jeremy. My bad, I've interrupted you. Power High versus Ricky Starks is announced. We know the Junk Christian Cage versus Jungle Boy.
They're putting your match on All Out.
The Casino Ladder match is announced. Warlow and FTR versus Jay Lethal and Motor City Machine Gun.
Why can't I just get the Motor City Machine Guns and FTR?
FTR, yeah. Come on.
I love Jay Lethal, and I love Wardlow too. I like what they're doing, but you could just give me them in another singles match and freaking let those tag teams shine. Can you guys Motor City Machine Guns versus FTR?
Legendary.
Dark Order for the tag title. Who y'all think? And then the trio championship, which if you told me United Empire versus Elite was gonna be on the card, I'd be like, okay. But now you got Dark Order and Best Friend. I'm sorry, Tor, I still don't know who them people on Best Friend. Torton told me 4 times who them people are. I have no clue.
Your boy Orange Cassidy's on the Best Friend.
I love Orange Cassidy,
but I don't know the other two.
You got Chucky T, you got Trent, and you got Danhausen.
Shout out to Dan. Is Danhausen in the group? Is he wrestling?
I mean, he's always with them. He may not wear the crazy tie-dye tracksuit
so
like everybody
in the match.
else,
I don't care about that.
Hey, he was in the graphic.
And Dark Order versus I'm sorry, Dark Order kind of
he could curse somebody mid-match.
Dark Order.
You never know.
Dark Order a committed group. I don't know why.
Yeah, they're going downhill.
Yeah,
and I hate to say it, but I almost feel like I agree with the critics now. Like maybe you should have ended the Dark Order when Brody Lee passed.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah,
and then we
gave everybody a shot outside of it. Let the Super Smash Bros have a tag run. Let Silver and Reynolds have a tag run too. 10 could find a good place on that middle undercard. And I understand they wanted to keep doing it so they could keep Brody Jr. involved. And I understand that Amanda's got a job at the company now. And that's cool. But I don't see why that means you have to drag this faction that this man pulled right out of the mud when he came in. Don't forget, we had the weird punch fiasco and Evil Uno sitting on a chair of creepers to start out with until Brody Lee came. And since he's been gone, I mean, look at where we're at now.
And then we got the 4-way women's match. We're gonna do predictions next week. Don't worry, we'll start. So we're gonna do predictions for all these cards next week. Then you got the NXT World Collide. You got Tyler Bate versus Braun Breaker. You got Mandy Rose versus Miko and Blair. Mandy Rose is the odd person in this match. If you gave me the other two,
I watched the Mika Sadarumo. I watched a little highlight reel of hers because I honestly wasn't up to snuff on my NXT UK.
She legit.
She got some moves, bro. If I'm keeping it a stack.
Her and Blair, if it was just her and Blair, this match will be a guaranteed banger.
See, I haven't watched the Blair highlight yet. I'm gonna before we get there. I'm gonna try and watch both of these at the same time.
I still think you need Mandy Rose.
Yeah, but Mandy, don't you think it's time for Mandy to go back up to the main roster?
She has built her. I think Toxic Attraction should go up to the main roster. She has built herself down there, and they should really start put the title on Cora Jade. That'll really help her with her heel turn. They have a lot, and Mandy, honestly, I think maybe in ring she's gotten better. Everything she does, she's gotten better.
She got better.
She should be on SmackDown.
She got way better.
Yeah.
But with the other two women in the ring, she ain't on that level.
I love Mandy Rose,
she
but what I saw from this goddamn Mika Sadarumo girl, she
nice. She nice.
Nice.
And Blair,
I didn't know
she
started off in WCW.
yeah, she was
I was like,
young.
she is clean, bruh.
Bro, she's really good. Like
where did she come from? I ain't gonna lie, and maybe I don't watch as much independent wrestling as I think I do. Or maybe because
she legit.
I was like, how have I never heard of you?
She legit.
You weren't them Joshi apartments I was looking in? What?
She legit.
I ain't see her in no Joshi apartments.
She ain't never did
She
that. She was in WCW if you remember then, but other than that, she been.
What?
Yeah, she was in WCW.
She's that old?
She was in WCW. She was on Nitro. She did some matches on Nitro. I think she fought Stacy Keibler one time.
Yeah, she did some matches on Nitro.
This Japanese woman that I saw come out on NXT.
She can move like that in her age, dog. That's crazy.
Bro, that made her even more impressive. I'm not even gonna lie.
I wish Triple H would have got her earlier though, but she couldn't speak English that good a long time ago.
That's correct. Y'all blew my mind
if you can't speak English.
If you go close out the podcast, do it while I'm stunned. That's crazy. She can't. That's why.
Yeah, she was born in 1979. She's about what?
That's great.
About 43, 44.
So she was 20
I was gonna say she
on Nitro.
Yeah, she was early 20s. Early 20s.
Depending.
She's known as.
That's wild.
By the way, in wrestling circles over there in Europe, she's known as the final boss. So.
Ooh.
Oh.
That's a nice title.
I guess so.
She legit though. Blair is Blair Davenport.
Like I said, that highlight reel was gross.
Yeah, but she's amazing. We gonna get out of here. Tori, what can they find you?
You already know, AfroCommie765 on everything. I'm probably on some social media saying something reckless.
Yeah,
check it out.
Gerald,
of course, you can catch me here with these fools.
Yeah. Shout out to Gerald being with the gang. Gerald, what can they find you?
G Hicks 44. I'm all over. I'm all around. Mostly basketball, a lot of football, a lot of wrestling, and a lot of laughs.
Yeah. Monday Morning Quarterback coming back soon too. NFL season's finna start, so we gonna get back on the ground there. But I appreciate y'all, and this been a good podcast. Like I said, next week, hopefully we don't give Tony Cunn so much time, and we're gonna talk about these pay-per-views and who we predict. As y'all saw, most of us picked Clash of Champions to be the best. World Collide haven't filled theirs out yet, so they might can Tuesday they might can take over. So we'll see. AEW All Out is about full. They got about 8 matches already claimed. I don't think they can pass Clash of Champions because Clash of Champions ain't even put all theirs out.
You know, Tony Khan's gonna set everybody in for a long ride. He's like, I hope you're ready for 5 hours, 6 hours of wrestling.
By the way, if we somehow get Sami Zayn, if the Usos can travel and you can get Sami Zayn and KO and it leads to that story. If you give me Sami Zayn KO versus the Usos, I'm sorry. Y'all lost. Clash of Champions won.
That's a dope match. All things.
They've been kind of setting it up, though. They've been kind of setting it up.
And then give me Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus DIY while you're at it.
That's the matches I was making on WWE.
Baby, I'm here for it.
That's the exact match.
You need to throw Donnie Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa together yesterday.
Yeah. Immediately. Tommaso, he killed it.
Tell them, where can they find you at?
They can find me in the link tree below. You can find me always here. By the way, I got a video coming out tomorrow on my Zell May channel. So if you want to click that, I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't give everybody your energy, because I've been seeing everybody telling me, you got to conversate. I'm going to give you a little preview. The Bible says, don't hang around fools unless you be a fool. So we out of that. I love y'all. Peace.